Dr. Lena Harper stood at the edge of the Little League field, her expression a blend of fear and defiance. Her and her group had just received an incredible message of peace and hope from the alien craft, but now they found themselves surrounded by dozens of soldiers. General Holt strode forward confidently, his polished boots kicking up small clouds of dust with each step. He looked around, his eyes taking in the damaged pitcher's mound, the disrupted bases, and finally settling on the group. "Dr. Harper," he began, his voice cold and authoritative, "you've made quite the spectacle here." Lena met his gaze, her voice unwavering. "We are just trying to protect the people of this town, General." From a short distance away, a brief commotion drew everyone's attention. Soldiers had discovered another figure hiding in the tall grass, Jamie. His hands were swiftly handcuffed, and he was roughly pulled to his feet, pushed to join the others. General Holt surveyed the field, his eyes cold and calculating. He finally broke the silence. "Take these three to the jail," he commanded, pointing at Lena, Martinez, and Jamie. "And the boy," he gestured dismissively toward Timmy, "get him back to the hospital." As his gaze settled on Private Lewis, it darkened. "And as for you," Holt sneered, "you're going to the brig. I'll deal with your insubordination personally." The soldiers snapped to attention, quickly executing Holt's orders. The group was escorted off the field, the path illuminated by the overhead spotlights sweeping across the Little League field. Lena, Martinez, and Jamie were directed towards the Old Town Jail, a brick building that had been commandeered by the military, armed soldiers standing guard at its entrance. The jail cell was dim, lit only by a single overhead light, casting sharp shadows across the faces of Dr. Lena Harper and General Holt. The air, though still, felt charged, as if anticipating the impending confrontation. Holt's fingers drummed on the steel table between them, his gaze unwavering. "Dr. Harper," he began, voice dripping with condescension, "do you truly grasp the significance of what we have here?" Lena, although unsettled, met his stare. A momentous discovery, an alien race trying to make contact, a chance for peace and unity. Holt chuckled softly, shaking his head. So naive. Peace, unity? These are luxuries, Doctor. Luxuries we may not be able to afford. Leaning forward, Lena challenged, "What are you saying, General?" His eyes, cold and calculating, bore into hers. "That craft out there? It's more than just a ship. It's a repository of knowledge, technology, and power. Imagine harnessing that, turning it into something we can use. For defense, for supremacy." Lena's heart rate quickened, sensing the depth of Holt's ambition. "You want to weaponize it?" she whispered, the gravity of his intentions weighing on her. A thin smile stretched across Holt's face. "Doctor, we live in a world where might is right. That ship could give us an edge unlike any other, an unparalleled advantage over our adversaries. But it wasn't sent here for that. Those beings came here to share knowledge with us," Lena countered, her voice rising. "This isn't some war trophy to be plundered." Holt leaned back, his chair scraping loudly against the concrete floor. "Our world, Dr. Harper, is built on the backs of those who seize opportunity. This is our chance to ensure our nation's dominance for generations." She stared at him, aghast. "And what if they resist? What if the beings that sent that craft retaliate?" Holt's face darkened. "Then we'll be ready, armed with their own technology." The military brig was basically just a row of big metal cages. Technically, it was a temporary field detention facility. There were 2 other inmates in the brig, each in their own cage, but one inmate in particular stood out. Private Lewis sat on the metallic bed, his posture rigid as if expecting an imminent confrontation. The door slid open with a metallic clang, and in walked General Holt, his silhouette momentarily blocking the light from the hallway. "Well, Private," Holt began, his voice dripping with disdain, "you've certainly made your mark on this operation." Private Lewis, despite his predicament, met Holt's gaze. "General," he replied tersely. Holt circled him, like a predator sizing up its prey. "You know, Lewis, I had high hopes for you. Dedicated, loyal, diligent. So why the change of heart?" Lewis exhaled slowly, gathering his thoughts. "It's not about loyalty, sir. It's about doing what's right. The townspeople, the ship, they aren't our enemies." Holt laughed, a cold, humorless sound. "You think this is about some small town or its people? This is about the bigger picture. Power, control, security." Holt leaned in closer, his face inches from Lewis's. "Your little act of rebellion will cost you, soldier. You're going to be court-martialed. You will be found guilty, and they will send you to Leavenworth. They are going to lock you up and throw away the key. You are going to rot there for the rest of your miserable life." Lewis swallowed hard, but his determination didn't waver. If standing up for the truth and innocent lives means a lifetime in prison, then so be it. The lines on General Holt's face deepened, his lips curling into a sneer of distaste. His eyes narrowed, and he quickly turned and walked out of the room. Sheriff Martinez paced the holding area, occasionally casting worried glances at Jamie, who sat in a corner clutching a small device. Seeing Martinez's concern, Jamie beckoned him over. Martinez knelt beside the boy. "You okay, kid?" Jamie hesitated, then whispered, "Sheriff, before they got us, I managed to record something from the ship. The hologram. I saw it, and it's message. I recorded everything." Martinez's eyes widened in realization. "Can they access it?" Jamie shook his head. "No. I uploaded it to an encrypted account in the cloud. It's safe for now. If I don't log in for 3 days in a row, the message will automatically be emailed to journalists at the New York Times and the Wall Street Journal." Martinez looked at the teen, impressed by his resourcefulness. "That's good," he said. "Amazing work, kid. Now let's see about breaking out of this jail." 3 days passed, and an impressive scene was unfolding at the town's Little League field. General Holt, along with a team of military scientists and engineers, was at the crash site. A massive tent had been erected around the alien spacecraft, with cables and tubes running in and out. Machinery hummed and blinked, while armed guards patrolled the area. Inside the tent, Holt observed with barely contained anticipation. The alien ship's exterior was sleek, shimmering in colors that seemed to change when viewed from different angles. A team member approached Holt, holding a device. "General, we're ready to begin the extraction." Holt nodded. "Proceed." Using the device, the engineer tried to interface with the craft's technology. The goal was to extract and harness its power source, to be used as a weapon of unprecedented scale. After hours of attempts, there was a sudden jolt. The machinery connected to the craft began to overheat, their gauges spinning out of control. Warning alarms blared. "General, something's not right," one of the technicians shouted, but Holt, driven by ambition, dismissed the caution. "Continue. We're on the brink of a breakthrough." But as the minutes passed, the situation deteriorated. The craft began emitting a pulsating hum, its rhythm quickening. Soldiers outside the tent looked around in alarm, sensing the imminent danger. Some began to retreat, pulling back from the craft. Then, with a force that no one in Mount Comfort could have anticipated, the craft exploded. A shockwave radiated outwards, flattening buildings, shattering glass, and tossing vehicles like toys. The ground shook violently, and a blinding light consumed the area. General Holt, his team, and many soldiers were obliterated instantly. The shockwave, with its destructive force, raced across Mount Comfort, bringing death and devastation. The force was so powerful that it carved out a massive crater where the craft once lay. Screams of panic and terror filled the air as smoke and dust blotted out the sun, creating an eerie twilight. Residents miles away felt the impact. Panic ensued as smoke and dust blanketed the sky, turning day into night. Fires raged, consuming buildings and trees. The screams of the injured filled the air, a cacophony of pain and fear. In the aftermath, with the dust slowly settling, the devastation was clear. A large portion of Mount Comfort had been decimated. Hundreds lay dead, many more injured. Buildings, once symbols of a peaceful community, were now rubble. The alien craft, the source of so much wonder and hope, had brought unparalleled disaster. Inside the prison, as the explosion's force reached them, Lena, Martinez, and Jamie were thrown off their feet. The walls cracked and debris rained down. In the pitch dark, the echo of the blast was ringing in their ears. Time seemed to stretch endlessly, but as the tremors subsided and the dust began to settle, a heavy silence enveloped the scene. Lena, coughing and disoriented, emerged from the rubble. She called out, "Martinez, Jamie." "I'm here," Martinez replied, groaning in pain. Jamie's voice, shaky but clear, answered, "Me too." The trio carefully navigated their way out of the destroyed prison, aided by the dim light seeping through the cracks. As they emerged from the ruins, the scale of the destruction became horrifyingly clear. While the tumultuous events were happening in Mount Comfort, Jamie's failsafe had been triggered. Since he was unable to log into his accounts online, his recording of the alien ship had been automatically sent to journalists at the New York Times and Wall Street Journal. Within hours of sending the recording, it went viral. News stations picked up the story, leading with headlines like "Proof of Extraterrestrial Life" and "Mount Comfort, Ground Zero for Alien Contact." As the recording played on loop on news channels and social media feeds, there was a mixture of awe, excitement, skepticism, and fear. The global media frenzy turned Mount Comfort into an overnight sensation. Journalists, ufologists, and the curious descended upon the badly damaged town in droves. Roads that once saw little traffic now had cars lined bumper to bumper, and the local businesses that were undamaged by the blast were inundated with visitors looking for souvenirs or simply a cup of coffee. Lena, Martinez, and Jamie found themselves at the center of this whirlwind, with many seeking them out for interviews or insights. Lena, trying to maintain some semblance of normalcy, was constantly fielding questions about the aliens, the explosion, and the aftermath. Martinez, on the other hand, found himself busy assisting with crowd control and managing the sudden influx of people. The atmosphere in Mount Comfort was electric. Everywhere one looked, people were talking animatedly, pointing to the skies, or huddled around screens playing the mysterious recording. The prevailing mood was one of excited anticipation, but underlying it all was a palpable tension. Just as the town seemed to reach its peak of frenzy, something extraordinary happened. Midday, as the sun shone brightly in a clear blue sky, the horizon began to darken. Within minutes, the once clear sky was filled with enormous alien ships hovering silently. Their sleek designs and iridescent surfaces reflected the sunlight in mesmerizing patterns. The town went silent. Car engines stopped, conversations ceased, and all eyes were trained upwards. The magnitude of the event was clear. This was no isolated incident or secretive reconnaissance mission. This was a full-scale arrival. The world watched in anticipation, waiting for the next move. Would the aliens come in peace, or was this the beginning of an invasion? Mount Comfort, once a quiet town in the shadow of a mountain, was now at the forefront of humanity's most significant encounter. The tension in the air was palpable. After the arrival of the alien fleet, all of Mount Comfort stood in anticipation. Even the newcomers who had flooded into the town to witness this global phenomenon held their breath. News outlets streamed live, capturing every moment. Many feared the worst: retaliation for the destruction of the alien ship. Lena, Martinez, Jamie, and Lewis stood among the crowd, each absorbed in their thoughts. Lena's scientific curiosity bubbled beneath a layer of anxiety. Martinez's protective instincts as both a father and the town's sheriff made him scan the crowd, ensuring safety. Jamie felt a weight of responsibility, given his inadvertent role in this global event. Lewis, having been through a roller coaster of events, simply hoped for a peaceful resolution. At the town's center, where the ruins of the destroyed ship and General Holt's catastrophe lay, a soft light began to glow. From the largest ship, a projection appeared. This wasn't a projection of light or an image, but a being made of energy, exuding a sense of calm and peace. The ethereal being began to communicate, its voice a melody that resonated in everyone's minds, a universal tone. "Humans of Earth," it began, "your actions with our craft brought sadness but not anger. We do not believe in revenge or hostility." With those words, shimmering golden sparks began to fall from the ships in the sky, descending upon Mount Comfort. The injured, still recovering from the aftermath of the explosion, felt a warmth enveloping them, healing their wounds, both external and internal. Buildings reassembled, streets cleared, and the picturesque charm of Mount Comfort was restored within moments. The being continued, "Our mission has always been to foster peace, unity, and knowledge. We journey through the stars to find beings, to share, to teach, and to learn." As the being spoke, a pedestal emerged from the ground, and a glowing orb descended from one of the ships, coming to rest gently on the pedestal. "This," the being projected, "is a beacon of knowledge. Through it, you will learn the wonders of the cosmos, the secrets of interstellar travel, and the fabric that binds all life. This knowledge is our gift to the people of Earth." The townsfolk, in awe of the gift and the transformation of their town, listened intently. The being's final message was profound and touched the very soul of every individual present. "This planet, your Earth, is a gem of the universe. In our journeys spanning galaxies, we have yet to find a world as vibrant, as alive, and as beautiful. You are not just inhabitants, you are guardians. Every life here, every tree, every creature, every human, is part of a cosmic family. Cherish each other. Protect this world. For in the vast tapestry of the universe, Earth shines the brightest.